How Pashtun warriors shook an empire. From Kandahar to Isfahan, the rise and fall of Hotaks. In the early 18th century, when empires rose and fell like the shifting sands of the desert, a new force stirred in the rugged lands of southern Afghanistan. This was the time of the Hotaks, a Ghilzai Pashtun family who would carve their name into history through fire, rebellion, and fleeting glory. The story begins in Kandahar, a city caught in the grip of the mighty Safavid Empire of Persia. For decades, the Pashtun tribes lived under the heavy shadow of Safavid rule, enduring taxation and the imposition of foreign customs that clashed with their traditions and faith. But among the tribes, the Ghilzais were restless, proud warriors, unwilling to bow forever. At the heart of this storm stood Mirwais Khan Hotak, son of Shah Alam Hotak, a man of sharp mind and fierce loyalty to his people. Mirwais Khan was no ordinary chieftain. He was both a diplomat and a strategist. Sent by the Safavids themselves to Persia, he observed their weaknesses from within, learning their courtly games and political intrigues. When he returned to Kandahar, he carried with him not only knowledge but a burning vision: independence. In 1709, Mirwais Khan made his move. With courage and cunning, he led a daring rebellion in Kandahar, striking against the Safavid governor. What began as whispers of defiance soon roared into open revolt, and in a decisive battle, the Afghans crushed Safavid forces. For the first time, the Pashtuns of Kandahar tasted freedom under their own rule. Mirwais was hailed as Mirwais Khan, the father of the nation, a title that still echoes in Afghan memory. Yet, Mirwais was wise enough to temper ambition with prudence. He consolidated Kandahar's independence but did not overextend. His leadership was marked by justice and restraint, ensuring that the fragile new state endured. When he died in 1715, the seeds of sovereignty were firmly planted. But it was his successor, his son Mahmud Hotak, who sought to expand the dream. Unlike his father, Mahmud's ambition knew no bounds. He gathered a formidable army and turned his gaze westward, to the very heart of Persia. In 1722, Mahmud marched into the Safavid Empire and, in a stunning feat, captured Isfahan, one of the greatest cities of the age. The once dominant Safavids fell, and Mahmud Hotak, a young Afghan chieftain, declared himself Shah of Persia. For a brief, dazzling moment, the Hotak dynasty stood atop two worlds, ruling both Afghanistan and Persia. It was a triumph almost unimaginable, a tribal uprising that toppled an ancient empire. But victory carried within it the seeds of ruin. Governing Persia was no easy task. Mahmud's rule was marred by unrest, famine, and rebellion. The Afghan warriors, so fierce in battle, were ill-suited for imperial administration. As resistance grew and cruelty deepened, the glory of the Hotaks began to crumble. After Mahmud's death, his cousin Ashraf Hotak struggled to hold power, but faced relentless opposition from Persian factions and the rising power of Nader Shah, a brilliant general destined to reshape the region. By 1738, the Hotak dynasty's star had burned out. Kandahar, once the proud symbol of Afghan independence, fell to Nader Shah. The dynasty ended as quickly as it had risen, a flame that burned bright but brief. Yet the story of the Hotaks is not one of failure alone. They proved that a determined people, even from the mountains and deserts of Afghanistan, could shake empires and seize destiny with their own hands. They ignited a spirit of resistance and self-rule that would echo through Afghan history, inspiring future struggles for independence. And so, the tale of the Hotak dynasty lives on, a saga of ambition, courage, triumph, and tragedy. A reminder that from Kandahar, dusty streets once rose a family of warriors who dared to defy an empire and, for a fleeting moment, ruled as kings of Persia.